Drafting with Numot.
Drafting with Numot, another Throne of Edlraine draft. Here we go, pick one, pack one. And our rare is kind of interesting. Emry, Lurker of the Loch, definitely more a constructed quality card, but you know, there are some interesting artifacts in this format that you can pair with this. I think the top ones that come to mind are like the Witching Well, which is the 1-mana artifact that you can sacrifice for 4 and draw 2 cards. There's like Scalding Cauldron. There's even like Ginger Brute. And there are some other artifacts as well that have easy graveyard applications. That is to say, you can sacrifice them and get them back. Of course, you can't get food back with this because they are tokens. They never actually exist for more than just a second in the graveyard when you sacrifice them. But the only other card here that I could consider taking first pick is like the Reeve Soul. So I think it's worth taking the Emry over the Reeve Soul just to see the applications that we can have with this. Obviously, this might not pan out, but we'll see. We will see. A slight punishment here as we have some good cards, another Reeve Soul being one of them. Slaying Fire, very, very good burn spell. Certainly. 3 damage, 3 mana instant, and then of course if you have Adamant, it does that extra 1. Sir Farron's pretty solid as far as 2 drops are concerned, though I don't think it's like anything special. Reeve Soul, of course, mentioned earlier. Scorching Dragonfire as well, although the Slaying I think is a little bit better than it. Vision is a good card, and then to some lesser extent you have like the Sword Master. After taking the Emry, don't really want to take any of these artifacts. I mean, again, you can cast Jousting Dummy out of the graveyard with Emry. You can cast Weapon Rack if you mill it or whatever with Emry, but don't think those cards are worth taking here. I like either taking the Slaying Fire or perhaps the Dragon Fire. I think here I'm gonna go with the Dragon, or rather the Slaying Fire, just because it's a little bit better. I don't like red overall. I think it's one of the 2 weakest colors in this format, but paired with blue, it is quite good if you can get the red-blue draw 2 deck. And wow, another really, really solid pack here. Another Scorching Dragonfire, Joust for any Knight decks, Fairy Vandal for the draw 2 deck, which I'm going to be taking. Once in Future, just really good value. Normally this format's pretty darn slow, and so a card like this, while it might not be fast enough in another format, is perfectly serviceable here. This is just like a double regrowth. And in this format, I think it's really, really good. But after what we have already, I think taking the Fairy Vandal over the Scorching Dragonfire is fine. This does send a little bit of an awkward signal, of course, as now I've passed 2 of the premium red common, but you never know. We'll see where this goes down. Probably a pretty easy enchanted carriage here for me. Opt is good for the draw 2 deck, but this is just good in any deck. 5 mana 4/4 vehicle, but when it enters, you create 2 1/1 mouse tokens. Conveniently, the mice can crew the carriage itself. Other fine cards in this pack, you have like Fruit, Outflank, Griffin, Youthful Knight, but I think Carriage is the best one here. Easy pickup for me. And into this pack. Inquisitive Puppet, not really a combo with the Emry as it exiles itself. All this would be really nice if it just sacrificed to make a 1/1. Get a 1/1 every turn. And a Scry at that. I think the Tiny is pretty close to the best card in the pack anyway, so don't mind taking it here. Otherwise, there's like the Loch Thwain Paladin. Unicorn's okay. But Tiny fits with what we're doing so far. And oh my, if that's not a reward for doing what I'm doing, I don't know what is. Because Loch Dragon is not only just very good, but it's exactly the card type of card we're looking for the draw 2 deck. Remember, red-blue is the quote-unquote draw 2 archetype. I'm looking for things like Improbable Alliance, you know, more Fairy Vandals. There are some other creatures that care about having drawn 2 cards in a turn. Other fine cards, Scavenger and Sanctuary, but Loch Dragon is perfect. Okay, another really solid pack here for us. I think Embereth Shieldbreaker is surprisingly great. Like, destroy target artifact as the front side adventure. You have to remember, all the food in this format are artifacts. Not only that, but there are just plenty of playable artifacts otherwise, and so oftentimes this is just a straight-up 2-for-1. You kill the artifact, then you play it as a 2-1 later on. We are passing 2 good cards for us, the Red Cap Raider and the Unexplained Vision, but I think the Shield Breaker is just too good. Okay, I'm not a big fan of the Skullknocker Ogre. I'm not even sure why this is uncommon. 4/3 for 4. Whenever it deals damage to an opponent, that player discards a card at random, and then if they do, they draw a card. The stats are fine. I would like to see it have trample, so don't think I'm going to take it here. We'll just take the red cap raiders, which can turn into a 4/3 trampler. Okay, another ogre here, but that is not what we're looking for. I'm actually going to consider taking like the crashing drawbridge. I think this card is undervalued in the format. Plus, it works fine with Emry. Because remember, Emry can just randomly mill some artifacts as well and then cast them from the graveyard. And she's actually really good with the Enchanted Carriage right now. So, you know, if they kill the carriage later on, then I can just Emry it back. Didn't see any Witching Wells, which are the ideal, I guess. Scalding Cauldron is a fine card, but not one that I'm really looking for. I think we just have much better removal that we can pick up. So let's see. I passed 2 Reeve Souls and 2 Scorching Dragonfires, so there is a moderate probability that I would say that we don't get too much red in pack 2. But we'll just have to see. I don't think Ferocity of the Wilds is very good. Corridor Monitor is like whatever. Again, it is an artifact for Emry, worst case scenario, but otherwise not very playable. Same thing with Crystal Slipper. Again, artifact for Emry, just not a very good card overall, in my opinion. There was also that 2/4 Scarecrow, but I think that card's kind of filler as well. I'm sure I'll regret not taking it, though, and opening an Oko or something crazy. Not a bad start, though. Again, just a little bit upset that we sent such a weird signal with the double Scorching Dragonfire pick, but alright, last few pickups, nothing good for us. But yeah, pretty solid start to the blue-red draw 2 deck, and I think I've cut it off well enough to where if there is an Improbable Alliance opened, I think we have a decent chance of getting it. Castle Embereth is our rare. This is a decent one for sure, especially if I can pick up like the Improbable Alliance to make the fairies. This with the fairies is just disgusting. The best card in the pack, though, is probably the Archon of Absolution. Yeah, just does everything. 4 mana, 3/2 flyer, protection from white even randomly, and then it has that tax effect to where, you know, opponents have to pay more. For us, we have Merchant of the Veil or the Castle. I do have a Prized Griffin already. I could consider taking the Archon as the best card in the pack, but I don't think that's necessary. I think I'm okay taking Merchant of the Veil here over the Castle. Don't get me wrong, Castle's a fine card, but I would rather just have the Enabler for the draw 2. Although, I guess right now I only have the Fairy Vandal, but I'm expecting to see some good stuff later on. The Bloodhaze Wolverine is one of the creatures that you're looking for. Like, it comes down on turn 2, and it is pretty aggressive, all things considered, but there are a decent number of creatures with like 4 toughness in the format as well. So I think we just take another Embereth Shieldbreaker here. Card is, again, pretty darn good in my opinion, and I wouldn't be surprised if we wield a Bloodhaze, but we'll see. Midnight Clock, I like that card a lot. I was mentioning earlier how this format is pretty slow, generally speaking. A lot grindier than most formats, most limited formats of the past. And you know, this looks very slow, and admittedly it is pretty darn slow, but man, this is a format that really lends itself to letting the clock go off. I think this is a very good card, and happy to take it. Jeez, how many Ferocity of the Wilds is that? Best card here is the Covetous Urge. I think people overlook the fact that even if your opponent doesn't have any cards in their hand, this can take cards from their graveyard, and so it's not a dead card, you know, later in the game. When you draw it and your opponent doesn't have any cards in hand, or, you know, whatever has a land in their hand. So I think we take that over, say, Moonlit Scavengers. And yes, it's going to be a little bit awkward to cast. I have to pay quad blue, but this card is still good later on in the game. Like, even if I'm not casting this until turn 8, turn 9, I think that the upside is certainly there. Easy Hypnotic Sprite for us. It's not one of the draw 2 cards like the Steelgaze Griffin or the Mantle of Tides are, but I think it's a better card than the Steelgaze, so easy pickup, as is a Runaway Together. You have some good value with it already anyways. Can rebuy like our Sprite, our Shield Breakers, yada yada yada. And there's nothing really else in the pack for me anyways. What else could I use right now? Yeah, some more removal would be pretty good. We have a Tiny right now, we have a Bounce, we have the Slaying Fire. Just super awkward passing those Dragon Fires, but gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Okay, Mantle of Tides. Overwhelmed Apprentice is okay. Bargain and Fling. I'll just take the Mantle here. How many ways do I actually have to draw extra cards? I guess I don't have that many, do I? I have Merchant and the Lock Dragon. That's about it. Still going to be my take, but feels like I'm going to need pack 3 to kind of help me out. Okay, there's a Blood Haze Wolverine. That is 7th pick? Okay. So we might get a few Blood Haze Wolverines on the wheel, which means I'm going to need to pick up some of those like opt effects. Just a way to draw 2 cards, instant speed. Okay, junky pack here. We don't need another Corridor Monitor. Not thrilled with our position. Bargain's fine. Lochthwain Gargoyle is not like anything more than passable. River Turtle, again, probably not going to end up running that kind of card. Looks like the Wolverine didn't wheel. I don't remember exactly what pack it was in. We could still get it, I guess, depending on... So we have 4 more picks left. Well, I thought that Lock Dragon in the first pack was a good sign, but... I guess in pack 3 we'll probably see the same rate of good blue-red cards. As again, I'm getting passed to right now by the person that I passed all the Dragon Fires to. So many Ferocities. I'm going to take the Weapon Rack. I don't think I'm going to run the Weapon Rack. I will take Mantle of Tides. Seems good. Need to get some more creatures now, but... Love-Struck Beast. Nope. Serkera the Bold, though, is quite a good pickup. Just a very good uncommon. This pack has a lot of decent cards. Although the only other card I'd really want is like the Red Cap Raider, as the Raging Red Cap doesn't do much. Rimrock Knight, not correct really for this deck. Secret Keeper's fine, but again, not correct for this deck. Let's just be happy with our Sir Kara here. Just pass me an Improbable Alliance and then some Ops or something. That's the dream. Yeah, really need some more card draw effects, preferably at instant speed so that I can like attack in with some random 2/1s and whatnot, and then, you know, if they block, I can mantle on instant speed. That would be nice. Ooh, wow, what a pack. This pack has 5 excellent cards here for us. I'm going to have to take the Stroke because I think this card is bomby. Even when you're not playing the Adamant, well, the Uber Adamant, I should say, this card is still very good, right? 7 damage split between 3 targets, or up to 3 targets, I should say. So, you know, later in the game, you can just nug the opponent for 7, but you can also just kill like 2 creatures or 3 creatures. But we're also passing a Mad Ratter, one of the better uncommons for this variety of deck. Merchant, Opt, and a Thrill of Possibility, as well as one of the best uncommon, if not the best uncommon in the set, Sir Conrad. Card just does it all. We're going to take the Stroke here, and we're going to hope to wheel one of these 4 cards. That's the hope. Okay, another pretty decent pack here for us. We'll take the Slaying Fire number 2. And ship a Queen of Ice and a Vantress Paladin, but that's a good pickup. Not too thrilled with this pack. Joust is not good outside of the Knight deck, as this is just a fight effect. And besides the Circara, the only other Knights I have are these Shield Breakers. And so if you're fighting your 4/2 to one of your opponent's creatures, unless it has 1 power, that's probably not going to end up favorably. I think we just take the Mystical Dispute for the board here, as we already have a Barge in, which I don't even think I'm playing anyways. Okay, Wolverine, Vantress Paladin. I don't actually have all that many ways to draw 2 cards at instant speed, so let's just take the flyer here. Okay, Scavenger versus Redcap. I do have some artifacts, so the Scavenger is going to be a fine card. I don't think I need a 3rd Mantle anyways. So many Crystal Slippers, so many Mantle of Tides. Guess I'm taking the Scalding Cauldron here. Another Embereth Shieldbreaker, wow. And a Charm Sleep, which I think has just got to be the pick, right? Decent removal spell here. Okay, we wield a red Cap Raider, which is nice. So it looks like we're falling out of the red-blue draw 2 deck, and we're just kind of a red-blue deck. Which means these Mantle of Tides, while in the blue-red draw 2 deck, are pretty good. I don't think they're as good if you're not triggering them. So maybe they're just an easy cut. We did wield a Mad Ratter too, but so that tells me that nobody else is really in this deck, but the problem is we just don't have the methods to turn it on. Again, I only really have the Merchant of the Veil, and then, like, I guess Midnight Clock draws an extra card. Lock Dragon. But that's just not good enough. That's too bad. Because Ratter, when it goes off, is so powerful. Yeah, I don't think I can run the Ratter with just 2 continuous ways. Both of them creatures, so they're frail to removal. This means we're probably cutting the Blood Haze Wolverine, since that card is only super solid when you're enabling the +2 effect. So poops. All right. Well, we ended up with a deck of just decent cards, but not really the deck that we wanted. And I didn't see any of like the huge payoffs either, which is unfortunate. The good news is we do have some good removal. And any deck with a Midnight Clock can do some work. Yeah, we have like Sundering Stroke, which is excellent removal. Covetous Urge oftentimes acts as removal. 2 Slaying Fires, Charm Sleep, So Tiny, and the Cauldron to go with the Emery. So I think we ended up with a good deck, but it just doesn't have the synergy that you would want for red-blue in this format. Okay, let's do like this. So we'll go 9 blue, 8 red, looks about good. Nine blue, 8 red. And let's take this one to the battlefield. Let's see how round 1 goes. Okie dokie, here's round 1 of this Throne of Eldraine draft with our red-blue not draw 2 deck. On the draw with a pretty stinky hand. It would be fine if I drew exactly a mountain off the top, but I'm more inclined to mulligan this hand. Try to find a better 6. This is almost exactly the same. Okay, well, I don't think going down to 5 is very good. I'm going to go ahead and keep this. And I guess I'm just going to pitch the Sundering Stroke. At the very least, we have like an Emery, perhaps. Turn 3. You know what I just realized? We didn't see a single Witching Well in the draft. Not one. Put it on black-white, which is the color of Knights. Alright, deck. Could use a 3rd land by turn 3. That would be ideal. Funny enough, this is not a Knight. We got there. Perfect. I think I like leading with the red cap raiders. Emry I want to save until a little bit later in the game where the opponents kind of used up their removal, like their Reeve Souls, which I would imagine they use here if they have it. And then we can leverage some advantage with, you know, carriage and whatnot should it die. Crashing Drawbridge. So this specifies non-human. Emry is in fact a non-human. Okay. Well, I'm actually going to run out the drawbridge here. And I think I like attacking for 4, even though we're trading for 4 damage on their part. Oh, they have the +1 or whatever, +2/+1 death touch. Yes, Lash. Lash of Thorns, it's called, sure. Because now if I draw a land next turn, I can play Emry plus hold up like Runaway together. For example. Although I'm probably just going to jam Lock Dragon if I draw land. 4 damage pass. We did not find our land, so let's play Emry. And we hit 4 lands in our graveyard. Yikes. Well, that would have been nice to have. I think we just block. I don't think I need to trade Emry for their 2/1. Not in a rush yet. We still have 10 life. Ha, they have an enchanted carriage. Okay. Well, we can Slaying Fire that. Potentially. So I think I like just passing here. Prized Griffin, you got it. Well, the Griffin is also a card I'm going to need to deal with eventually. I wonder what's more important here. Oh, wow, I'm crazy. For some reason I thought I could deal 4 damage. I guess I can block with Emry and also shoot. Or I could say block and bounce. But I don't think that's ideal. Yeah, I guess I'm just going to have to 2-for-1 myself here. Now, even worse than a 2-for-1 actually, since they also got mouse value. So I'm going to fall down to 8. I'm going to hope to hit a land here to cast an Enchanted Carriage, which we don't, so obligated to play this, but we're in a pretty bad spot. Yeah, I'm going to pitch the Urge, look for land, and we didn't. So I'm going to hit me for 3. This attacks, I block, this attacks. We're pretty dead here. Oh yeah, turn everything into a 3/3. Nice. So we are just dead. GG. Well, I guess we're going to go to a game 2. Lesson learned. Don't miss land drops. Opponent didn't do anything too scary. In fact, the only non-creature they played was that Lash of Thorns, so I'm not too scared of what they're doing. We're just going to run it back and hope to draw some more land. Game 2, round 1, after we got thrashed. And we are on the play with an acceptable hand. Do need to find some lands, but Merchant of the Veil can help with that. Not going to cycle my Merchant quite yet, because all these cards are good, and we might just naturally draw a 3rd land, but See, now that's questionable. Now I think what I probably do is end of their turn, rummage away the Enchanted Carriage and draw an extra card, which is fine. Remember, we do have an Emery in our deck, so putting the artifact in the graveyard is not the worst. Then if we do hit a land, we can red cap Raider, or we could just cast out the Merchant, but doesn't really do much. They have a Youthful Knight. All right, let's haggle. Pitch the carriage. Did find a land. Great. No land there. So I have a few different options I can go down. I could just cast the Merchant here, which actually blocks the Knight, or I could cast the red cap Raider and hope to draw a land off the top. I think because we have plenty of other things to do with our mana, I don't mind running out the red cap and hoping to hit a land. I might take a little bit of extra damage this way, but this also applies more pressure to the board, as this attacks much better than Merchant of the Veil does. That's fine. Memory Theft. Well, now I regret not casting out that Merchant of the Veil, because they get to eat my Lock Dragon and my Merchant. Holy moly. Yeah, they just got a 2-for-1. We did even find the land. Womp womp. Alright, well, let's attack for 3. And I don't remember seeing any artifacts from them game 1, so I guess we'll just run out of 2-1. This is a human, so I couldn't have pumped up my red cap Raider, if you were wondering. Man, if they have like a Reaper of the Wild now, make me discard my last 2 cards. Ugh. It's already looking pretty bad for us, though. They have 5 cards in their hand. Too many first strikers. Can't handle that. Although they are attacking, which is interesting, knowing that they know that I have 2 removal spells in my hand. Wow, okay. They had double Swordmaster, so I guess they can race really easily, can't they? Alright, well, let's just fire. And these don't block a 2-1 first striker, so might as well attack in. Yep, there's a carriage. I take 2. Aha, that's a good draw. It's pretty funny, actually. We actually get to do it. Oh, we did see an artifact from them. I'm stupid. We saw that game 1. Of course we did. But seems correct to do that now. I actually can't really afford to attack. I guess I'm Charmed Sleep. I'm going to Charmed Sleep on this 2-1 first striker, as sad as that is. Now they just get to cast out their Sword Masters, or whatever they're called. Another Youthful Knight. My poor 2 toughness creatures can't handle it. Yeah, this game's looking really bad. Okay, well that's pretty good. We get to Emery here, and then if I draw a land, Emery can start bringing back the artifacts. And we just milled 2 artifacts. The clock. Rather, we have 2 artifacts in our graveyard now, but we milled a Midnight Clock. So that might be what we need to get back in this game. A little nice card advantage there. I think if they attack with their Youthful Knight, I'm supposed to double block. And then if they use a trick to 2-for-1 me, so be it, but... Whoa! Well, in this case, I think I'm going to go like this. make the trade and then make the good block, because if they have a combat trick and this is kind of signifying that they do, then I'm forcing them to use it on the mouse and I don't get 2 for 1 on the Youthful Knight. They might just have their Lash again. They could also just let this die and not care about the mouse, but I really don't want to block with the Emery. It's just too important for us to hit a land and get the carriage online. Now they're debating whether or not they want to use their trick, I'm imagining. Could be any number of things, but the Lash is what we saw last game. Oh, we also saw the +2/+2 untap doo-doo. Yeah, okay. So that works as well. But look how good carriage would be on this board. It just instantly stabilizes us. Come on, land. Beautiful. All right. Let's carriage it up. Pretty nice. Ooh, I can also Covetous Urge their carriage. You know, the funny thing about this is, if they have a removal spell for my carriage later on, or, you know, this turn. Oh, that's kind of gross. Then I can just cast it again the following turn. But now I think we're just going to die to the flyer. Yeah, I like this attack. Because I'm going to crew here. The 4's automatically getting in. I'm probably blocking the 2-1, so that puts me to 2 life. And then they just play out their 1/1 flyer and put me on a 2-turn clock. Oh, or they just had Lash. So they had both combat tricks, and I am going to die. All right, well, we got thoroughly crushed there. Let's hope we can win the next 2 matches then, shall we? Go, go. Okay, round 2 after we got stomped in the first round on the draw, and we have a fine hand of playable cards. I think with this hand and with that draw, I'm likely to just run out the Sprite on turn 2 and start trying to bash in. If I was on the play, I think there's consideration to holding up the counterspell of this Sprite, but I think this is a good hand to just try to aggro them out. Spinning Wheel, that's a good one. I almost played the island there because of Covetous Urge. That would have been a big mistake. All right, attack for 2. Play the Raider. Say go. Hope they don't play like a Revenge of Ravens on me. Bake my red cap into a pie. I accept. Ooh, good draw. All right. Beat in for 2. Let's cast a 3/3 flyer. Nice little curve out here by us. 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop. As they have a Charmed Sleep. Okay. And they're just main phase sacking their food? Sure. Nice. All right. I get to hit in here for 2 and then Covetous Urge. Worst case scenario, I get to land their bake into a pie. Best case scenario, they have something juicier for me to hit. They do have a Revenge of Ravens, and they also have a Festive Funeral. So let's take the Revenge. They might just straight up Funeral my Sprite, but that's okay. Yep. Wait, did they play a swamp this turn or an island? They played a swamp. Okay, so last card in their hand is an island. Good info for us. What we might see the next few turns is just us going to combat, them tapping down. Us going to combat, them tapping down. Really need to find another source of pressure. as expected. But if they're tapping down our creature, that means they're not scrying with their castle, which I guess is good. Witching Well, that's a good one. And pop it off main phase. They double topped as well. Yikes. Maybe they found another bake. A Harvest Sphere. Alright, that's fine. Had removal in my hand, but they have no creatures on the board, so... I mean, I guess the Charm Sleep would be nice to have for their Reaper that's about to hit the battlefield. That's a pretty good draw as well. We're going to go ahead and run it out. Even though we're losing out on Rummage value, it doesn't really matter. Just need to put stuff on the board. It's actually pretty lucky for us that we don't have like the, well, I shouldn't say that, but it's a lot of the times the blue-red deck, if it wins via like Improbable Alliance, just gets completely hosed by Revenge of Ravens, so. Double Castle Vantress, interesting. There's the Reaper. We still get to attack into it though, because if they block, I just get to Cauldron to finish off. Let's bash in. We get to rummage away our swamp, or rather mountain. Ooh, for a runaway together. That's a good draw. Interesting that they're choosing to block here. I should have probably just cast this before they could block, though, in all honesty. That was probably the correct play. Drown in the lock to kill my lock dragon. But how does the lock dragon drown in the lock? I don't understand. Alright, well, this is an easy attack with both, as Reaper has to block the Moonlit Scavenger, and then we just get to Cauldron it down. They go to 3, so both my creatures are lethal. Also notably, unless they have some mill effects, even if they do stabilize, it's going to be very hard for them to kill me when I have Revenge. Ooh, and you know what? I have 2 Slaying Fires in my deck, so... And a Sundering Stroke, so... I have 3 cards that will just instantly win the game, for example. That was also just a very, very good draw. A shameful display, for sure. Alright, your move, OP. Can you stabilize? Turtle does block. Do they have an answer to the flyer? Forever Young. What did they target? Wait, what? They targeted their Reaper. They they needed to not target anything, just to draw a new card. Whoopsies. Alright, Mystical Dispute comes in. Looks like Wolverine can even come in versus them just as a 2-1. Doesn't look like Cauldron's so necessary. Ooh, Midnight Clock will be very, very good versus them. I can probably just cut this drawbridge too. Go to game 2. Game 2 here of the second round. We are up a game. And another pretty nice opening hand here for us. Got some creatures, got some removals. What more could you ask for? And just going to jam out the Sprite again, turn 2. They're going to charm it. They're going to queen it. Okay. Let's play out the Emery. We hit no artifacts. In fact, we lost our Sundering Stroke, but it's okay. It's all random anyways. Just going to run out their Queen of Ice. Okay. No fourth land from the opponent, though. So let's bash in for 2. I guess I've actually should have played Mountain there for the Slaying Fire Adamant since I don't have a triple blue card in my hand. That was a mistake. Minor punt there, because now if they play randomly something with 4 toughness, I won't actually be able to Adamant it next turn. So they play an Animating Fairy. That's fine. Ooh, another good draw here. We have some really good blowout potential this turn, though. Get to attack with both of my creatures. Tap the Emery to the red cap. And depending on how they block, might get to blow them out if they double block this red cap, for example. If they just offer the trade, I might let that happen. I'm tempted to let that happen, but I think we can go ahead. Because I do have the Slaying Fire in addition to cast at, say, the end of their turn, I don't mind using the Tiny there. Otherwise, I would just jam out the Surkera. As they mill me with a Merfolk Secret Keeper, that's fine. Are they going to just recast that? That's pretty... okay. That's pretty awkward to kill my... or rather, to mill me, though, when I have an Emery on the battlefield. So let's do this now. Kill the Queen end of turn. Like, if they had hit an artifact or something, you know, they just get kind of punished. So, notably on Surkera, it says you may play that card, not cast, which means with Surkera you can play lands. And there's that problem card. Okay. Well, let's... Do I want to go for the card advantage? I think I do. Like, technically, Surkera only deals 2 damage if it attacks instead. Let's haggle here. Pitch the Mountain. And then let's play our Haggler since we know they have Memory Theft. Oh, no, that was the previous opponent that had Memory Theft, wasn't it? Either way. Oh, Revenge is very, very annoying. Also, our stroke is gone too, so 1 stroke gone, 1 fire gone. That means we have 1 fire left. That doesn't really matter. Also slightly annoying, but those cards didn't do too much for us. Oh, that's not a bad draw. It's... Again, man, I could be attacking with the Kara for 1 extra damage, but I think the card advantage is important. So we did hit a Slaying Fire here. Nice. And this is until end of turn, right? Yes, this turn. Oh, I get to exile another card too from the Surkera. Let's attack for effectively 2. I think we just... it's hard to say. Like, the Fairy Vandal does actually grow with the Merchant. As they bake into a pie. Darn it. Alright, so I have them at... Actually, I have them dead if they don't have a So Tiny. Oh, right, they can play out their blocker. Darn it. Yeah, we do run out the Vandal, because with the Merchant, I can make it larger. Well, that's probably too good to throw away. Because if I pump up the fairy, I hit them for 4, but they go up to 5. So let's play at our 3/2 flyer. The only issue is now they have a food. Close game. I'm sure somebody in chat's going to be like, wow, you missed lethal. But Revenge of Ravens, keeping them alive here. Festive Funeral. All right. They just left themselves dead. Because now we can make the play of rummaging with our merchant, which is going to trigger the Vandal. Opponent goes to 2 life, or rather 4 life after the attack, but then takes 4 in the air. So got him. And now we are 1-1. Let's see if we can recover in our final match and pull off a 2-1. Here's the final round of this Throne of Edlraine draft. We are on the play with another fine hand. So I think we hold on to the Scalding Cauldron because it doesn't really do anything for us. I have I have like an other curve out anyways. But I could definitely see casting out the Scalding Cauldron turn 1 because then if I have the decision of using Cauldron or Sprite at the end of the next turn. And now I look like a fool. Well, now I wish I had played out the dang Cauldron. Yeah, that was just really bad of me. Especially with the Sprite in my hand. I don't know what I was thinking. Because imagine this turn, I can either just kill off their knight now, or I have Hypnotic Sprite to counter something. Big mistakes all around. Like, look how bad this is now. I kind of just time-walked myself. Yikes. What was I thinking? I mean, I wasn't. Sure be nice to have Hypnotic Sprite open here. And Slaying Fire. Oof, I would have been able to counter the Lonesome Unicorn, which is basically a 2-for-1. Man, so stupid. So stupid, Kenji. Alright. This is fine. We will try to recover. Run out the Shield Breaker as a blocker. Hold up the Sprite and the Slaying Fire this turn. That is another fine counter. Gets rid of a card draw and a 1/1 Death Toucher. We'll take our 1 pity damage. Trade with a 3/2. If we draw a land, I get to bounce their token, which kills it. Ooh, that was a nice draw, though. This actually only costs 2 mana because I have the drawbridge on the battlefield. So let's go like this. We get to Emry. And I can haste Emry and cast the Scalding Cauldron immediately, which I think I'm going to do. Get the value before they can like Reeve Soul it or kill it otherwise. This is a nice little combo we have going on here now. So if they don't kill Emry, we get to start just dealing 3 damage to all of their creatures. Slowly but surely. And they just have another Knight token, nice. I think here it's probably a little bit better just to play out the 4/5 that kills a 2/2 though. That's kind of awkward. I'm not going to block. They might have an outflank or something. It's 1 damage anyways. Not a big deal. Ah, another Revenge of Ravens. All right. Well, let's do this play. I could have given my Sprite haste there and attacked. They're in such an awkward position, though. This Scalding Cauldron Emery is just so good. All right, what are they going to bring back? Sure. So we're going to go like this now. I'm going to save the Slaying Fire for face now that I drew Charm Sleep. Let's go Charm Sleep here. Cauldron here. Recast the Cauldron. Attack him for what is effectively 4. I'm going to lose 2. And they finally killed the Emery with an epic downfall. Get back their Worthy Knight. Do I have them dead, though? 4, 5, 6, 4 damage. No, not quite dead. Let's Covetous Urge first. Their hand is Outflank, so they did have that. Youthful Knight and a Barrow Witches. I guess we take the Barrow Witches here because they can return our Shield Breaker. Cauldron down the Worthy Knight. Looks like that 1 miss damage from the Hypnotic Sprite that one turn is actually going to cost me. Last card in There's a Hand is an Outflank. Does this win the game, though? So they're going to outflank my flyer. But if I go like this... No, they could still block that. Outflank, block. So I don't think there's a way that I'm going to win this turn. Although I can Barrow Witch. So they're gonna... I don't think it's actually worth attacking with the Sprite. They can outflank the Barrow Witch and block it, but then they take 4 and I just kill them with the Slaying Fire next turn, so I think this is good. They have no cards in their hand, so... And I'm actually gonna not play anything just in case they draw like a Reeve Soul, or not Reeve Soul, Reaper of the Night to make me discard 2. Definitely blocking here if they attack. And now we get to kill them. So super bad sequencing by me there. I should have just jammed the Cauldron turn 1. And I missed 1 attack with a Sprite. Could have definitely punished me, but fortunately this time it did not. But you did get to see the power there of Emery plus the Scalding Cauldron. Getting to kill all of the creatures. Let's just run it back for game 2. Game 2 of the 3rd and final round. On the draw. No red mana, but we have a fine set of cards otherwise. So I don't mind keeping. Although remember, Fairy Vandal is just kind of like a 1-2 flash in our deck. Doesn't really have any super good synergies, as I only have a few ways to draw extra cards. Take 2. Into 2-1 first strike into 3-2. I think I'm just going to have to sleep down their knight here as my hand needs a bit of time to set up, / a bit of red mana. Okay, land in no plays is good. And we did find our land, which is nice. Outflank. Alright, well, this is good then. I get to kill their 2-1, and outflank now only does 1 damage. And so I get to keep my fairy. Normally I wouldn't quote-unquote waste out rank, or whatever, Slaying Fire on a Youthful Knight, but the outflank cares about it. So, good value there. Lost Legion. How will they scry? Double bottom, alright. Ooh. Little Emery again. Oh, they have another outflank. Alright, no big deal. Like I said, Fairy Vandal doesn't do much more than beat a 1-2 Flash Flyer. Alter Fate to bring back their Youthful Knight. Alright, I can accept this. There's Sundering Stroke. Do I want to start applying pressure? I think we are. So let's crew up the carriage here. And go to attacks. Alright. So they might have their trick. That is fine, though. Again, we have Emery to bring back the carriage next turn, so this is actually pretty darn good for us. And we'll go ahead and just cast out the 2-1 Shield Breaker. I just milled 4 lands there. Oh, they drew a Glass Casket for Emery. That was a good draw. And I just played out my Shield Breaker, too. That's funny. That's like the most unlucky thing. I don't know why they didn't cast that out, though. I don't think I'm trying to race here. I maybe could have attacked with 1 mouse, but I'm going to go for a double block on the Lost Legion. Not sure why they're not playing that. Maybe they're just forgetting that they have an Order of Midnight. Not entirely sure why Youthful Knight didn't attack either. In theory, I could triple block, but that seems like a fine deal for them. What are you doing, OP? Ah, DC. All right, we'll BR back. Okay, they are back. They play out the order, and we were looking for a mountain. Cauldron it is. I mean, I guess I'm just going to kill the flyer off now. And pass. They drew another Foulmire Knight. Okay. Oh, they drew something else. Another Youthful? Ooh, the Worthy. Okay, this is a problem now. I really need to draw a land next turn. Covetous Urge. Okay, well, we get to take their like outflank from their graveyard, which is not the worst. But we need them to brick for a few turns, which they did. They just played out a land. Nice. So we're going to outflank the 2-1 First Striker. Trade with the 1-1 Death Touch. Take 3, go to 7. Not a land, but it does block. Bah, man. So if I draw a land, I think we are in really good shape, but I need to draw it like this turn. Okay, there's 1. That gets me the 4-5, which can bounce. They're 4-3. It's a little bit awkward because it lets them get another 1-1 token off of it, but the 1-1s aren't super relevant right now. And now if I can draw 1 more land, I can Sundering Stroke. Beautiful. All right, so now we get to 3 damage here, 2 damage here, and 2 damage here. Actually, I think I should just play it safe and kill 3 creatures. That seems a lot better. And we can deal the extra 1 to the Locthwain. All right, nice. And now Sir Kara is going to start getting us the card advantage as they cast out a Revenge of Ravens, which is pretty scary when I'm this low already. I should have actually attacked there with the Moonlit. That was a bad play. So end of turn, I get to give Kara haste and kill a human. Whoa, Forever Young. Okay, well, they're drawing a bunch of knights for the rest of the game. Yeah. I mean, I guess they just draw their youthful or their worthy knight first. Yeah, okay. So haste, ping. Play out this. I guess I do ping. I need to pressure them a teeny bit. But I can't really afford to give haste to the Vantress Paladin, otherwise I have no blockers left. Alright, here's the Locthwain. Sundering Stroke gone, 1 Slaying Fire gone. So I have 1 more Slaying Fire somewhere in the deck. Oh! That's right, I have a frickin' Midnight Clock. Alright, well we can now just sit on the Midnight Clock and redraw all of our relevant cards and pass here. Nice, that was really good. What other creatures? So they have a Youthful Knight they put on top, I believe. Oh, and the 2/2 flyer and Foulmire Knight. So they just left them on top. So my guess is they're going to draw their Foulmire Knight next. And let's just ping off the 1/1s. Okay. So they're going to draw a card. Yes. Yes. So now they're drawing the 2/2 flyer next turn, I guess. This is kind of a crazy game. All right, let's shoot the 2/1. Let's put 2 counters on the clock. That's not a bad draw. Yeah, we're going to hold on to that because it can counter their Midnight doo-doo. This is really good. They don't even get the 1/1 anymore. Is it good for them to attack with all? Let's see. Have to double block that. Block, block, block. So I would take like 2. Doesn't seem great. And like I'm drawing 7 fresh cards next turn. Alright, let's ping down the foul. Let's float a blue. Cast an instant, perhaps. Run away together. Nope. Well, now we have the combo again, so I get to, let's see, kill the casket, get back Emery. Milled 2 Slaying Fires and a dragon, but now we play the Cauldron out. And so the Cauldron is going to start killing their 3/3s. Emery starts playing out the Cauldron again. I start pinging them with Kara. Eventually, I draw the Sundering Stroke. I also had the combo of the Run Away Together, so I can cast out the Sprite here, which is what I was going to do. Cast out the Sprite, play my land, pass, have 5 mana open. I can Run Away Together the Hypnotic Sprite, one of their creatures, and then counter something that has 3 or less. So, wow, that was really sweet. Glad you guys got to see Emery in action there. We lost the first round pretty decisively, but those next 2 ones we got there. So, not bad. 2-1 with a blue-red not draw 2 deck. Just kind of blue-red good stuff. Hopefully you guys enjoy, and don't forget to check out all of my other content here on the MTGO Traders channel. Thanks for watching.